back to the Student Section, a podcast for student athletes with student athletes. We are joined once again from the women's basketball team, fresh off a very impressive season. We're joined by Ciara Croker and Danielle Williamsen. To my left, Tommy Armstrong joins us as well.
Excited for this one. Like you said, come on, fantastic season.
A great season. We were just talking about it, and let's go right into it, okay? Really impressive regular season. I would say, I'm not going to say went beyond expectations, but a really impressive, fun regular season.
It was fun. You can say it went beyond expectations.
Okay, you could say it.
Definitely did.
It was fun also,
Yeah.
right?
It was a lot of fun. I think we definitely left some things behind. We didn't show everything that we could have done. But coming off of a season where we only had 6 wins to then have, I think we had 16, is an amazing jump. And it was definitely a journey, and a lot of work and grit went into it. But I had so much fun, and I think our team grew a lot. We started the season on, I think we said on the last podcast, like we need to learn how to win, and we definitely did that. And now our next thing is how do we grow and learn how to win by 20 consistently, and how do we just be consistent as a team. But we definitely grew and got a lot closer, I think.
It was definitely a lot of fun. It was probably the most fun in basketball I've ever had. I can't lie.
You could feel it. Like when we were around the team, there was just like constant energy. The warm-ups, it just felt like it was a great uphill, and then we'll dive right into it. MAAC championships down in Atlantic City, the game that you played against the Mount. You guys will remember that forever, whether that be positive or negative or neutral, going into next season and your lives. The way that transpired, we were just talking about it. The lead was 27, I believe, right?
Yep.
You were down 27 points. And you would admit it. You thought the game was shot. At a point.
At
At a point.
yes.
At a point.
I would say it's definitely hard playing a team back-to-back. So we had to play the Mount the Saturday before going to Atlantic City, which everyone had their own opinions on that, whether it was good or bad. And I don't think you could really say either. I think once we lost it, we were kind of like, all right, let's look at this as a good thing. It's hard to beat a team 3 times to begin with. Let's go off of this. We know how to improve on. And that was a game we kind of let go because we had a huge lead in that game as well. But then just going in, we were really confident, really excited. And then again, going off of last year, we just wanted to do better than the past. And we wanted to get through this stint of losing in the first game. So I think we had really good energy going into the game, but then obviously it turned around and we definitely thought that it was a goner. But at least me and Danny were we're gonna finish this game giving it all we got. We're gonna try and have fun. We're gonna play Marist basketball, and we're gonna try and be positive because we still have another year. And why not? We're not people that give up on the court or on our teammates. So
The energy was definitely there in the beginning. I mean, we all had the confidence going into the game. I mean, we went up pretty big, and then it kind of went a little downhill, so we got down on ourselves. But just the heart that we showed, not giving up at the end. And in all honesty, it did start with Ciara. When she got the rebound and I got the pass and scored the N1, she was like, come on, guys, we got this. She hit 2 back-to-back shots. Everybody was still kind of down. And then I was like, yeah, let's go. We got it. And then we started chipping away. And it was really only one possession at a time. You can't think too far ahead of it. Yeah, we're down 27, but I mean, hey, we came back. So
For those who don't know, the team was down 27. I would think this is the midway point of the second half, right?
yeah.
Midway point,
And
maybe
then I
a
think
little.
we were down 20 with less than a quarter.
It was
It would have been the
the
best.
the third biggest
Yeah.
D1 women's basketball comeback ever.
Ever. Yeah. And I think I give a lot of credit to our coaches. I think everyone thought that it was kind of done with, but they were continuing to sub and try things and give us energy and be like, let's go. And then when Danny hit that shot, we had energy. Every huddle, Coachy was like, you guys got this. We're going to keep going possession by possession. We're going to press. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And it was never we're done. We're stopping fighting. And I think something that's also really special is the group that did it. It wasn't, which can be hard, but it wasn't just the starters. It wasn't just the star players or who was always scoring. And I think that's really special about basketball in general, that just because 5 people can play at once, we've always said our team, it's not one person, it's not 2 people. We're really hard when everyone on our team contributes and does what like they can do. So it was special that it was just a random group out there, which not really random, but like it wasn't just the starters. It wasn't.
You haven't seen that lineup that
and
often.
we hadn't really had that lineup. It just one like spark. That's all it takes, and everyone fed off of it. And then like their press. I remember this one like trap. I think it was you.
It was
and
me and
Jack.
Katie when she got the travel.
And they
That
traveled.
was what no, it was like right over half court. I think it was you and Jackie, and you ripped the ball from her, and then you got the end.
That was
Yeah.
that was one of the best things I've ever witnessed. Like on my end,
I was
that
like,
was so hype.
on the other baseline basically, and she got the ball. I was like chasing after her. They fouled her. I ran down the whole court. I like
Bear
watched it
hugged
back.
me.
I'm like screaming in her face. I was like, wow, I can't look at myself like that, but just I get chills like thinking about it. And I think that was like one of the plays too that I was like, we got this. Like the thoughts going through my brain, everything. I was like, no way this is happening right
I was
now.
like,
I
let me
couldn't-
just make the layup. Let me just make the layup. But definitely with the press, like personally, I love pressing. And when we had, like she said, had that group of people out there, we're all quick, we're all fast, we can all move really quickly. We got stop after stop. I think Katie was on top of the press, and Jackie hit a 3, and then we went right into the press, and then you see everybody on the video like, travel, travel, everybody was screaming. And then I hit a 3 in the corner, and then I think Jackie and Julia hit another 3, so it was like the momentum was going. And the big thing for me is I don't give up to like the last buzzer. So like having everybody behind me like doing the same exact thing, and the coaches knowing they're still locked in no matter what, down 27, it just shows how much we were willing not to give up.
Playing right off of that, don't give up to the last buzzer. That fourth quarter, you guys faced a heck of a deficit. But then, take us deeper into that huddle after the third quarter, going to the fourth quarter. What was really the talking? Who stepped up and had everything kind of switch?
You should have seen her.
I know these
She
two
was-
right here are
You should have
so
seen her.
what was
This
it?
was impressive.
I said to them, I was like, I pulled them all aside. The coaches were like, okay, sit down. And I was like, no, guys, like, come here. So I pulled them up. I was cursing a little bit, but I like in a positive way, obviously. And I was
The
just
Staten
like,
Island came out.
Yeah, I was just like, come on, like, we love to beat each other up in practice. Like, why not? 1 quarter, 10 minutes left. What's the worst that could happen? Just take all your anger, all your sadness, whatever emotions out on them. And like, we got this. It's nothing like we haven't done before. I was like, we love playing against each other in pickup. We love playing against each other when we compete in practice. So like, let's compete. Like the smiles and the joy basketball brings us when we're competing against each other in practice. Like, let's just bring that to here. Like in practice, we'll be like throwing up random shots and then going in and then like hitting crazy celebrations, like stuff like that. So I was like, just have fun and just like, again, don't stop.
And
they
knowing
did.
like there's nothing to lose. And I love when Danny speaks up because I'm very vocal and I need to learn like sometimes to not say things or like the team's going to be annoyed if I talk every single time. So I'm still learning, but like in a moment like that, I was like picking and choosing, like let someone else speak. And I loved that how much energy she gave and passion she showed to everyone else. And everyone fed off of it. And just knowing like there's nothing to lose. Yeah, we're down whatever, how many points, there's 10 minutes left or whatever it was. We're probably not going to win. But why would we ever quit? And Marist doesn't quit. Like, that's what we said. Like, we never quit. We're going to show. And we're all coming back next year. So leave a good impression. Make people scared to play us next year. Like, and I think that's just, like, what happened. Like, it was amazing. I don't know.
And I know it's cliche, but the defense in that second half, I mean, in the first half, whatever it was. In the second half, it was like a complete 180. Rafflo, you guys held Rafflo completely standstill.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a runner's high, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened. The next thing happened. It just was like
It was crazy.
each individual event compiled into a 1-point game.
I think we learned a lot, too, from that. That, like, one, like, anyone could be the spark. And that you don't give up, anything could happen, but also it takes one thing to turn a game around. And I think we saw that a lot negatively this season, but that was one, even though we didn't have like the end result that we wanted, we saw it positively. Like there takes one play, one person to just shift it, and you just have to like run off that.
I also think, like, as a team, we say we pride ourselves on being shooters, but I also think we pride ourselves defensively as well. And I think a big thing is, like, it's cliche to say, obviously, but defense leads to offense. So the momentum we were getting on defense after each stop and everything, it really just led to our offense. And then it was just, like, basically like target practice and shooting, just hitting our shots. And that was
Automatic.
it.
And that's when we play our best basketball. Every game that our defense led to our offense, and we were kind of dictating the game because we weren't letting the team score at will and stuff like that, we played our best. and we played relaxed and we had fun. There was good energy. We weren't stressed. Every time we didn't dictate on defense, we would get like riled up and like nervous and all of that. So
I don't remember the stat, but the points off turnovers in that second half was mind-blowing.
yeah.
Bottom line, we said it before, you guys did exceed expectations in this one, in that MAAC tournament. Obviously not the exact result you wanted, but left off on a good note. You guys preseason ranked. The preseason poll didn't necessarily respect you guys in that, right? But absolutely came out on top, got yourself into the playoffs. What's it like year 2 under Coach Dowdy? What's that feeling bringing into year 3? And then even for you, step in, your first year in, make a big impact.
It's definitely exciting, knowing, like, again, the energy and the heart we had. It's just bringing it into the next season. So definitely this postseason, we're using all that energy that we can. Again, being picked 11th, we went in with the mantra saying it's personal, and it really was. I mean, we exceeded that expectation of finishing higher, but like I've said to numerous people, I don't think that we're 5. I think we're top 1 or top 2. And that's something I truly believe. And I know Ciara could definitely say the same because she loves to compete too. So it's been a lot of fun postseason so far, just like competing against each other and bringing that energy. And I have to say, if we just keep it up, we're top 1.
All MAAC rookie selection here. So,
No, I would agree, and I think that, like she said, it was very personal. Being ranked 11th, saying that we weren't even going to make it to Atlantic City, and frankly, really disrespectful. And I think we carried that with us the entire season, but also that our work's not done. Coach E reminds us every day that we're not going to be comfortable. Like, there's never a point where we should just be comfortable. Like, during the season, we won 3 games in a row, and she's like, well, we're not comfortable. That's not the goal. The goal is Atlantic City. The goal is championships. And just her pushing us and reminding us about that, and having people like Danny in practice to be able to say it out loud, like I say it out loud, and going at each other. I think that the vibes this spring have been really high and really good, and everyone's just really eager to get better and to get closer as a team. I think over the past year we worked a lot on team chemistry, but I think there's still improvement to be had in that aspect. But I think it starts with just being really supportive with each other on the court and being able to push them competitively, but then also know that we have your back off the court. I think that we've taken a huge step, and we're only on our 3rd week of spring, and I already see like a major jump in that. And like me and Danny have our own relationship, but like I can talk smack to her in pickup even if we're on the same team. And it's funny. She's like laughing. She's smiling ear to ear. And I'm saying like mean things to her. And we're just like dying laughing. And I think that our team is getting to that point.
that's great.
That we didn't have the last couple of years. And the coaches are encouraging it. And they're supporting, and they're sitting watching pickup, and they're laughing, and they're talking smack to us. But then when it's time to have our workouts, it's hard. And it's only like an hour, but we're being pushed. And it's really hard, and we're pushing each other. But you get closer in that. So I'm really excited.
I would definitely say the best thing about going into these workouts is, like, you're going to be pushed hard. Like, same team or not, I'm playing Ciara, and we're not even in the same position, she's going to push me to work hard. She's going to be like, why are you walking? Why are you, like, taking this drill half speed? Like, that's just the type of relationship we have with each other, like me and Ciara and everybody on the team, too. The coaches as well, they always push you to be the best version of yourself on and off the court, and that's what I love so much about them. And I'm just, like, truly very excited for the season.
Someone who is, I would say, vocal points and one of the most engaging points on the team is Coach Mo. Mm-hmm. She was recognized as a top 30 under 30 coaches in, I think, Division I. Mm-hmm. Whenever I'm with her, there's something, she is hilarious, right?
Definitely.
I think all of our coaches are hilarious, but she's like a quiet, you said she's vocal, which she is, but she's like a quiet funny. Like, she's just herself. It's not like she wants to be like the star of the show. She wants everyone around her in a circle, and she's going to make us all laugh. She's just herself, and she is hilarious, and she can be funny while also pushing you so hard. Like, one thing that happened literally on Friday, our lifts have been very, very hard because our focus is like getting stronger and faster now. So we're lifting before practice, which we usually lift after, and they're lighter, whatever. They're really pushing us in the weight room, which is good. But Danny and I were partners for like these curls, so they're
bicep
pyramids. So you
curls.
start with like 10, and then you go 9 all the way one, and you had to do 2 sets. So like we grab a 15 because that's what we did last week, and we think that's like decent enough. And I'm standing there, and I'm just here like Ciara, and I'm like, it sounded like God. I was like, where is this coming from? And she's like, what's that baby weight? Like, what? I'm like, where is she? She's like hiding behind a rack or like, and she's like, pick up a 20, like. And I was like, okay, like, and we grabbed a 20 and we did it, and it was hard, but she pushed us, and she has like a comedic relief in it.
Yes.
But we were slacking off in a sense, and she pushed us. We were able to do it, and we got better from that. But we have that relationship with her where she can say it in a funny way, but we're like, no, she's serious, and like we respect that, and we're gonna do what she says. But she's hilarious. She has so many quotes.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't. The things she says, it's just like, it's crazy. But she really gets us going. She'll be the one in the like, not say a lot, but she'll be in the circle hyping us up. Like pregame, like definitely the hype man, like dancing and stuff, like at Niagara.
The
when she
pregame
was.
routines that you guys have are
hilarious.
Mo and then Ben.
yeah,
With the
and
warm-ups.
Nick with the
Nick-
push-ups,
yeah, the
and the
push-ups.
shadow
In the
boxing.
last game, get on the free throw line.
Yeah.
Start doing push-ups.
And I love that suit. The quarter zip, the pink quarter zip,
Yeah.
very slick.
No, it's really fun, and we talked a lot about having energy and joy. Coaches said that joy is one of her non-negotiables. Like, she wants us to be having fun and enjoy being there. Not a lot of people get to play at the level that we're playing at, and we're really lucky to have this opportunity. So embrace it and have joy with, like, we all love basketball. We're supposed to love it, so have fun with it. And the games that we didn't show joy, like she would say in the locker room, like, where's my team? Like, I want to see you guys have fun. I want to see you guys excited for each other, laughing, clapping, all of that. And the games that we have had that, we've done really well. Like our Canisius warm-ups, I wish you guys could have been there.
It's crazy.
It was so much fun and so funny. And Coach E was just like smiling ear to ear the entire game. And that was a hard game. It came down, we were in overtime.
Yeah.
And never once did I feel like we were going to lose it or not play our best because we had that joy, because we were feeding off of each other's energy. Like, Nick was jumping up and down doing pogos. Coach Mo was screaming like they not like us, singing Kendrick Lamar, like, and we're hitting shots back to back. Like, we do our best when we're just loose and having fun. And I think Coach Mo is a really big part in that, but also just all of our coaches in general.
You know what I think that's so special at a mid-major level? That is something that can be done and it's normal or encouraged. At a high major level, you can't get that family aspect that you kind of have
It's strictly
here.
business.
Oh.
It's strictly, and of course, high major level basketball. But this is just, you focus on the game, but your mental and your enjoyment process is not overlooked.
I think this is something we've talked about a lot and over recently in the past year. One, that it's really rare that someone from our level, it's not impossible, it is going to go on and play after these 4 years. And there's no more COVID years, so it's really 4 years now, unless you redshirt or whatever. But you could go overseas, whatever. But it's just not as common as, like you said, the high majors. So have fun with it. Like, you love the sport. You have 4 years. Enjoy it. And yeah, you're gonna lose some games. It's really hard. Like, it's a long season. There's days you show up and you're like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't want to do this. But Danny says it all the time. Like, you guys love it. Don't you want to be here? And we do. And when we show that and we let loose, like, it is so much fun. And those are the moments where I'm like, this is why I'm doing it. And I will never forget, like, that Canisius warm up forever. Like, I'll remember that my whole life. And also that we're so lucky with our coaching staff. I think it's really, really hard to come across a coaching staff that cares so much about us as people and as players and, like, our well-being with all the NIL and the money and all that's going on. There's no, like, they don't talk about that. Yeah, if we want to have an NIL deal, like, they're going to support that, but not with them. Like, they want to make sure we're good people first, that we're okay off the court, that we're doing well in the classroom, and then that we're doing well on the court. And every single coach has made such a strong effort to have their own relationship with every player, whether or not they're their position coach or in their group. everyone has their own relationship with every single coach, and it's a close one, and it's a meaningful one. And I think that is so special, and it says a lot about our coaches and also just Marist athletics in general, and why it's so special to be a Marist athlete. And I think that's really hard. Even other schools in the MAAC, you can't find
You can't
that.
replicate it.
Like, it's...
Every sport, they say the same thing.
I think that relationship in that vibe is so important to build a culture, especially for just the sport itself, the seasons. Coach Dowdy's been a part of a lot of success as a player, as an assistant coach throughout this. Not just in year number 2, going to year number 3. You've seen it. Your freshman year, she wasn't at the head, but has started. Do you kind of see that starting forming under her own reign as head coach?
For sure. I think that she says all the time, like, give me grace. Like, this is my first time doing this too. Like, I'm still learning too. I'm not perfect. Just like you guys aren't perfect. Just like you guys make mistakes, I do too. But I saw such a big jump in her this year from her first year as head coach to her second year of head coach, just taking that, she was like, I'm not here to make friends. She said that to us all the time, which can come across as harsh, but I think it was one of the best things she could say. Like, forming that line of, I love you guys, I care about you guys. She's such like a motherly being, but knowing like, I'm going to make decisions because I'm your head coach. I'm not supposed to be your best friend, and I'm not supposed to be your parents' best friends and the fans' best friends. And she made that leap this past year that I respect so wholeheartedly, and loved when she said that, because she has to make a lot of hard decisions. And she'll follow that up by saying, like, there's 15 of you or however many of you. I wish you could all play the whole game. I wish you could all start. But that's just one topic, but that's not reality. I'm not here to make friends. And I think that she keeps pushing that and demanding respect and earning that respect, that I think was hard being the assistant coach and being the one people went and cried to and complained about the head coach about. It's really hard making that transition. I give her a lot of credit for doing that. But and having moments where she screamed at us in the locker room, and like, she's not a yeller, or screamed at us in practice, got in our face, threatened us. And I saw a lot more of that this year that I loved. And then off the court, and like we're in pickup or in workouts, she's so funny. She brings games and has us in her office for snacks and is talking about her kids, and we're so close with her. But then when it's time for her to be our head coach, she is. And we made that transition this past year, and I give her so much credit, and I'm so excited to see how much she continues to grow and earn that respect. And I think that you had like a great first year, and I think you're one of the players that is helping her with that, because Danny is someone that wants to be yelled at, wants to be pushed.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. And I think like that's bringing a lot out of Coach E too, because Coach E has so much potential for her, sees so much in Danny, that's a really special relationship, both as a player and a coach.
I definitely have to say, I mean, she's covered it a lot.
Sorry.
But no, like,
great.
you took the words out of my mouth. But definitely, like, there's a good medium between, like, when I say, like, strictly business and then when we want to have fun. Like, we know as a team, like, yeah, we're going to be in warm-ups and we're going to bring the energy and have a lot of fun. And we're also going to carry it over into the game. But at the end of the day, it is business, and we're here to take care of business and win the game. But, like, and the same thing with practice. Like, yeah, we're going to have fun. We're going to make mistakes. But, like, we know this is our job and this is what we have to do. And I think Coach E is definitely that person. Like, she could have a strictly business side, and she have, the motherly instinct side. And it's great that she always has the open door policy. Like, you ever need to go to her, you go right to her office. I think like on Tuesday or last Tuesday, I only had one class, and then I was working out with Coach Nick, and I was there for the whole day, and I was just sitting in her office. Like, we talked maybe for like 20 minutes, and then I just sat there. Like, it was so like a safe space, I guess you could say. And all the coaches are like that. There definitely is, what you see is what you get. They're not going to lie to you about who they are and what type of coaches they want to be. And ultimately, when I picked to come here, I was like, they gave me the family aspect, and I knew I wanted a family away from home, and they just gave me that. I also have my friend Ciara here.
That's a great sales pitch, Marist. The good thing is completely non-basketball related. I see like a genuine growth from the last time we were here, and during our interviews during the season, like on the sideline, at first you weren't so comfortable. You would say that, right?
Yeah, I could say that.
But like this, you've grown. You've grown in your interviewing skills.
She's grown a lot.
I remember
this
that
year.
first interview that we had, like post game, and I don't know. I think I stumbled on my words, and then you stumbled on the word, and then we were like, okay. And then
I was a little nervous,
and then coming here now and just doing this, that's
She has no
non-basket life
reason
skills.
not to be confident, though, and I think you learn that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, she's said, and I've said to her and felt the same way. Like, coming in as a freshman, you don't want to step on other people's toes. You don't want to.
I didn't want to.
Like, say you're a freshman, so you should do freshman things. Like, you should stay in your lane.
I don't like that mantra.
And I don't like that either. And I think
She jokes with me about
I like
it.
joke with her about it, and I told her, you're the only person I could say, like, shut up, freshman, or like, go do that, freshman, too, because I know you're not gonna take it personal, and it's a joke, and we have that relationship. But it's also like, if you're a true leader and you're a true player or whatever it is, and you really care, you can't wait to step on people's toes or wait your turn or stay in your lane, because your time's gonna pass you by and it's gonna be too late. So like, I've encouraged her when there's times I need to shut up, but like, I'm like, Danny, speak more. Like, we had this thing with our team where we wrote things on index cards, and one of the questions the coaches were asked was like, who should talk more? And I literally wrote Danielle Williamsen in like caps. I was like, she needs to speak more. She has valuable things to say.
That's good.
And she knows what she's talking about, and she's passionate, and she cares not just about herself, but about the team and about the school. So say it. Who cares if you're a freshman? Like, you came in, you put your head down, you worked hard, you earned a starting spot.
That notion should be thrown out.
You have earned everything that you've gotten, not for anything, not because your parents went here or you have a good relationship with the coaches. Like, you earned it because you deserve it, so you deserve to speak. And everyone deserves to speak, but like, I'm just like really proud of her too.
That's great.
I see it too. I literally was just looking at you when you're talking. I'm like, she's actually talking. She's not saying two words and then.
Definitely coming in, I was a little afraid to step on people's toes, not gonna lie. Not even because like I was intimidated by them or like they were scary people. Like, again, Ciara talks all the time. Like, she wants me to come and talk to her, like whatever. But I don't know. It's just a sense of like I'm a freshman. Like, that's how I kind of felt. But I do have to say, like, Ciara and like just everybody, they give me all the confidence in the world. There was a time that my confidence wasn't so high and I was getting down on myself a lot. But like the last game against Mount, I think it was Ciara, or I don't know who it was. Somebody said something to me, like the play was drawn up for like one of the plays, and I missed the three or whatever, but somebody said something to me in the huddle before we went out for the play, like, you're her, like, just take the shot, you're her. And I was like, that just like gave me all the confidence in the world, like, because like I trust my teammates, every single one of them, to hit a shot, and like for me, I care more about their success than my own. At the end of the day, I like to win. I love to win. So like, I care more about winning than me having however many points or like whatever. I rather fill the stat sheet up in other ways than points. But and I think that is definitely Ciara. Ciara doesn't score the most, and I think that her hard work doesn't go unnoticed. Definitely doesn't, because I notice it all the time. But the little things, like when we played St. Peter's and you held Fats to, she had maybe 20-something points or whatever.
That was a good defensive performance.
The first time, she actually had like 17.
Yeah,
that was a
17
good
the first time.
That was a good
They
defensive
talk
performance.
about people hitting shots and stuff like that, but she locked her up. That was our goal, to lock Fats up, and that's what we did. Rebounding, boxing out. Ciara will get in a fight with anybody, and I'm telling you, I'll be there to get her back. Like, I'll have her back. But yeah, I mean, definitely they give me all the confidence in the world. My coaches give me all the confidence in the world, and I couldn't be more happy to be a part of this team. I could like tear up saying that.
I know.
But yeah, it really sums up my first year.
So we have a summer break. You'll be up here for most part. You get a little time off.
We'll be back June 22nd to August 1st.
So a little time off, but then you're back in the lab and
Yep.
getting ready for next year.
Yep.
Ready? Are you confident? Confidence seems to be the theme of this discussion. So confidence in the next year. Where are you going next year? Obviously, you're staying here, but
Championship.
Championship.
Okay, we heard it here.
One
We're actually
answer.
going to March Madness, if you didn't know.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
NCAA.
Yep.
All right, we'll
Maybe
see you.
Sweet 16.
Yep.
Like sprinkle
Let's
that
do
in
it.
there.
We'll
Let's
see.
do it.
That's the goal. That will happen.
You have to be confident. I think you have to set the bar high to be able to reach it. Like
This is Marist program.
It's Marist,
It's
yeah.
Marist. It's not.
We're bringing it back to the top.
Bringing it back. Bring it back. Well, this was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, Tommy.
I'm excited. Just after hearing everything else, I want them to get going on the next year already.
Yeah, really.
Let's start the season. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Number
thank
two.
you so much for having
Thank you
us.
for
here.
having
Round
us.
2 on the student section. We will see you next year on the student section. For Ciara and Danny, next up is Asks, Aidan, with Aidan Asks.
Welcome back. This is Aidan Asks. You may notice that William is no longer on the panel. We kicked him out so that Ciara could stay on because the topic revolves around women's basketball, and who better to give an answer to my question than a women's basketball player. So Ciara, thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for having me. Sorry, Will.
Conversation with William and Tommy and Danny, and Ciara, you're still here. Danny had class, but it was a great conversation. I think excited all of us for next year and what's to come for you guys. Regarding my question that I have for this panel here, this wonderful panel, the WNBA draft just happened, and we are going to, or my question is for all of you to discuss the comparisons between Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark. Last year, obviously, Caitlin had the season that she had, and I've already seen people are starting to compare Paige to Caitlin without even playing a game in the WNBA yet. So what are your thoughts on those comparisons, and has Paige done enough to earn that?
Can I lead?
Whoever wants to go.
Okay, so I'm a very big Paige Beckers fan. So I think that there's a big comparison between the two. They're both amazing players. They both went number 1 in the draft. I mean, they're both comparably, like, not the same, but they are both different people on the court, but they're also both different people off the court. And I feel like for the woman, for like the draft and how Paige was the first player to hit 50, 40, 90, like besides Steph Curry. She's the only person to do that. She made she made many records just in the March Madness tournament herself. And I feel like going into the WNBA, she's already predicted to be Rookie of the Year. She's already predicted to start. She already predicted to like turn over the Dallas Wings for like something greater than they are right now. And Caitlin Clark, obviously, their first matchup is June 27th, I'm pretty sure. And that's going to be something that like sets the tone for those two for like the rest of this year's playing and how they're going to go. Because I feel like you can't really compare them because they haven't both played in WNBA. But that's what I have to say. That's not too biased.
I would agree with everything you said. I also don't like comparison.
Mhm.
I don't like comparing athletes really in general, especially because I think they're two very different types of players. But I do think that Paige Beckers is one of the most unguardable women's basketball players in history. And I think people say that all the time. I mean, Gino says that all the time. And it's really true. And when you're watching her, you take one thing away, she has an answer. And not that Caitlin Clark doesn't, but I think she's also had so much adversity. Different than Caitlin Clark, she's had more physical adversity, and she's still come out on top. So I think that we haven't even reached her peak or her best and seen her best. So I think that her WNBA career is just going to be really fun to watch, and she's going to keep growing. Not that Caitlin hasn't, but I don't really think it's fair to compare her yet, like you said, or even compare them in general.
Yep.
I did totally agree, but the one thing that just comes to mind is that Paige has won the big one. You know, Caitlin's gotten to the national championship, but you know, Beckers has gotten the job done. I think Caitlin Clark is an amazing player. She really transcended like the WNBA / NCAA women's basketball. I mean, the viewership for Caitlin Clark was through the roof, and I think this year it was a little bit less. But that's not like a knock on anything that Paige Beckers has done. I just think like that year off that Paige had due to the injury was, I don't know, kind of like people stopped like thinking about her, and then she came back on like this year was absolutely amazing. And I don't think you can compare the two players. They're different players. I think Paige has more like a diverse game, whereas Caitlin, obviously she loves the three. She's basically like a woman version of Steph Curry. So I think it'll be interesting to see how Paige does. The transition to the WNBA is not, easy. I mean, there's the best players, playing in the best, women's basketball league that there is. So it's going to be an adjustment for her. Caitlin, the adjustment was seamless. So I think before we can even make any comparisons, we have to see minutes from Paige Bueckers in the WNBA.
For sure. And before Derek gives his input, I think speaking on the fact that when Paige was out, there were other people to talk about, and Paige kind of lost the spotlight that she already had. It speaks to the amount of talent that is now within women's basketball, because other players are able to take that, where in years past there might have been just one or two players, and if they weren't playing, which for the majority of the time they did, but the fact that Paige got hurt and the game continued to excel and transcend, I think speaks to the amount of talent in that pool. And I guess Derek's giving the microphone back.
Sorry, I'm just making one point. One thing that's going to be really cool to see, because you made the point of how Paige got it done. She won the championship, but Caitlin stopped Paige from winning a championship their year before, and she stopped Paige. Like, she threw that ball. That play was the turnover of the play, like turnover of the game. Like, they knew at that point Iowa was gonna win, and I think that'll be really cool to watch them play again, because that last game that they played together, Caitlin stopped Paige from winning or getting to that point of the championship. But Derek's turn.
I'd say I think you're right. Is more of your point guard. Clark is more of your shooting guard. I think the biggest comparison when I look at it is Bueckers, I want to say, is from Washington. Caitlin Clark is from Iowa. So going to school away from home is a lot more to deal with when you're going into the WNBA. I think when you look at comparisons, I love the comparison because you're obviously looking at it from a standpoint of two greatest players in college basketball. Right there. I mean, that's easy. You got to compare greats in terms of it, but position value and also the adversity factor is why I'm a little iffy on the comparison, because I think Bueckers has gone through more and has a better trajectory into the WNBA, since you already established yourself as being from Washington, playing at UConn, versus Clark being an Iowa girl, playing at Iowa. I think, to me, that's the biggest difference in terms of the two players, and then obviously position in terms of point guard, more of your typical shooting guard.
We know how much Caitlin has gave to both women's college basketball and the WNBA. It seems as though, because you mentioned, like, she has that Steph Curry ability of shooting from further range, and Paige is just she's well-rounded and a very good basketball player. She doesn't do the Caitlin Clark where she's shooting from half court or anything like that. Will she be able to garner that same attention that Caitlin did because of the things that Caitlin is able to do?
So I'm from Connecticut, so I'm a big UConn basketball guy. So I've known about Paige forever, really, since she's been there. And I feel like Paige's name was getting thrown around before Caitlin's was, like way before. And then Caitlin came, she had like 2 great seasons, and then she left, she got drafted. But I feel like it's not like very, you can't really compare the two of them. Like, as we've been saying, they're two completely different players, and Caitlin kind of had this same type of, is she going to like compete in the WNBA? Is it going to go over well? And I feel like it's kind of the same type of conversation that we're having now.
Yeah.
I would agree, and I think it's also, like you said, Paige's name has been out there since she was in high school. Not that, like, Caitlin obviously was a top recruit, really good player, but the excitement around her is very different, and it's still kind of new. And I think the viewership and the views around Caitlin, one, they're amazing for women's sports in general and the WNBA and college basketball, but it's because she has like an excitement about her, because she's hitting the threes that no one else has done, because she is pulling up from out there, and is the women's Steph Curry, as you will. But Paige, like you said, is a little more well-rounded, and I think Paige's game does a really good job of making the people around her really well. I think Caitlin is still a really good teammate. She's a really good passer. But Paige makes everyone else look good. And I think that that's something a really good player has. But like you said, they're really different players. She has more of a point guard aspect, where Caitlin has more of a shooting guard aspect. But something I'm really excited to see and interested to see is how the older women in the league and the non-rookies respond to this class. Because I think that last draft, there was a lot of hate and pressure. And I was actually really shocked about how the older women in the league responded to Caitlin Clark and to the rookies, and how very few of them took her under their wing, where you would think this woman who's doing amazing things for your sport and for women in general, you would help build her up and do things with her. I think Kelsey Plum did some great things with that. But is there going to be the same kind of attitude to someone like Paige and to this class? Because Paige's name is just as big and being thrown around. So if not, why is it different?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question.
So kind of going off of what you were saying about the older players just not being very nice, Diana Taurasi was not nice at all to Caitlin Clark. Terrible, saying terrible
Was
things.
reality's gonna kick in or something?
Yeah, terrible things.
She's really hyped for Paige, so
yeah,
it's also
because
she played at
yeah,
UConn.
exactly.
But it's why is there a difference?
Right.
Yeah, you're playing against each other, but it's women's basketball, and it's taken such a big jump in the last couple of years,
Yeah.
and it's still on the up and up. Then why is it different just because you played at the same school? Why isn't Paige a threat to you?
I feel like Diana always had and not to be rude, an attitude though. She always, Gino said it in multiple interviews how she always just had something to say. Even her freshman year, she was very entitled, and how he had to humble her very much until she got 2 years and years to come as she was in UConn, and she showed and proved why she was acting so entitled, because she's just so good. She's so amazing at what she does, and I don't know why she felt so threatened by Caitlin, especially because she knew she was going to retire, and she knew that she was going to end up not even playing with her for more than a year, because that's what she ended up doing. And for that matchup though, when they matched up together, who won? It was Diana's
in the
team.
WNBA.
Yeah,
They played twice. I think the first time, I could be so wrong, but I think Diana won, and then I think Caitlin won. And the first time, Caitlin kind of had a rough game. She came back and did better. And I think, to your point, they're so threatened because Caitlin brings an aspect to the game no one else has. And because Paige is more well-rounded, they think she's like every other great.
Yeah.
Right.
She
She's more
seems like every other
traditional.
great. She's more traditional. And Paige is also very outwardly gets in their face, championship games, cursing at people. She's like that. Caitlin's not. Caitlin talks trash, but she talks trash to herself, to her teammates, and to the fans, to get excited. She doesn't necessarily go 1v1 to someone's face. And she brings an aspect no one else has. Those 3-pointers, that's threatening. It's imagine you're on a team and you have your starting spot, they bring someone else in that does something you don't. That's what it is to the WNBA, I think. And I think that's why they're so threatened. And because she moves in silence.
Yeah. I feel going off the points of not the comparison, but of Paige too. I think Paige is just such a great person on and off the court. And I think that's why she brings so much viewership. Everyone loves her because she's a genuine, nice person off the court. She shows up her friendships all over social media and how close she is. And she said in an interview right after she won the championship, and how the friendship that they had together is what brought them to win that championship. And I think that she shows that so much. And on the court, like you said, she leads and assists. She's always assisting people to go to get their point, making them look good. And she's going to go for that shot if she needs to, but she's going to make the person passing her to the shot make it look like it's a legendary thing. It was a Final Four game. She literally volleyball passed the ball to Caitlin Chen to shoot it. That was something that proves, if that's the one video you can show on how she makes her other athletes look good, that's the one video you can show. And I don't think a lot of players do that necessarily compared to her.
I think going off both of your guys' points about the overall player of Paige Bueckers, I think it'll be we don't want to underestimate her on the defensive side of the ball. We've been talking about offense, how both of them contribute on the offense side of the floor. But when Caitlin Clark has a bad shooting night, she can't really make up for it on the defensive end. She's a great player, but not defensively. Paige Bueckers is a little bit bigger, a little bit more physical. And I think on the defensive end, she has a lot more impact. And we'll see when it happens in the WNBA. I also think there's a lot of buzz around her, but there's no Angel Reese. There's no big rivalry in this draft. It was Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark all last year. I mean, I feel like that's all you heard about.
Yeah.
Paige Bueckers is really now
I think Paige was with
arch
Juju,
nemesis.
but Juju obviously she tore her
ACL. Yeah.
And she also has another year regardless if she tore it or not. So I think from that perspective, that was kind of the rivalry. But it's even to that, Juju coming into the league eventually will be another stepping stone for the WNBA, because Juju really has a handle that I don't think she's kind of another Caitlin type, where she's bringing something that no one has really ever seen in the W before. And as you mentioned, Caitlin Chen, I really hope that the Valkyries are able to succeed with her as a Bay Area guy. But I do think that the point guard aspect of Paige and pairing her up with Arike, who's like notoriously a shot chucker, and she's a volume shooter. I think that will help her game, and then obviously a local with Maddie Segrist. That'll be interesting to see. But even having this conversation, I think, is fantastic for women's basketball and for you guys. I think that's going to be another way to just continue to grow the game. And even with attendance at Marist, it's always been good. And next year, hopefully, that continues. I think it should. And as you said, we'll see you guys on national TV for the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four.
Can't
If
wait.
you manifest it now, it
Can't
will
wait.
happen.
Yeah.
Even now. Next year's a big year for Marist sports. Just telling everybody now.
So thank you guys for joining. I'm glad we had this conversation, and we'll kick it back to whatever it is that we have next.